Okay, so I've got my site view open there, and I want to get a site plan worked up now that I can use with the complete drawing set. So I was going to show you a couple of tricks first just to get that roughed out. You've got the image. If you go into your Brief 2 folder. Sorry, there should be, and again I've done my usual not put it there where it belongs, but let's just see if it's in this one. Well, it's probably good to go through capturing again, which is not in this one, so it will be in one of these folders here anyway. Don't want to go through capturing that again. Maybe I have to. Okay. So look, it'll be very quick. Going to obviously Street View, and because the site's changed, it's probably not a terrible idea. Okay. No, so you don't have to put a result in the way it would have been before, because the first subject is also the first assignment's going to you're going to meet most of the requirements for this subject now, and it's just because the class doing it during the day haven't had the opportunity to do that second assignment, and but yeah, it won't change much for you. So with this building here, you've got the Laneways, which have changed a little bit recently, but they still haven't got that shown here, unfortunately. So I'll just capture that the way it is, and so using print screen, and then into put it into Paint first, and then I might take it into Photoshop. But for now, just pasting that in, and just make sure that's maximised so I can zoom out a bit, and hopefully then just select the part I want, crop it, and I'll just save that. Okay, so then you can get to that, into the Brief 2 folder. So okay, so into Revit now, I'm going to do my usual duplicate the site plan. So if I right click on site and duplicate view, doesn't really matter which option, but I'll go duplicate with detailing, and then under insert, image, and then find that same file. No, it's an image, so satellite image. And so I'm stretching this roughly just to see the size. And you can see then that the orientation doesn't match either. So I'll also change it to wireframe just so that it's see-through. And not that it's really important here, but I'll also set it to fine just in case any walls and other things are solid. So just stretching this fairly quickly to get it to be roughly the right size. Before I decide on a corner, I think I'm going to use this corner here. So using the move button, I'm going to snap to that corner and then snap it onto the corner of my model. And then I can use rotate with that image selected. Snap the base point onto the corner of the building. Oh, sorry, I'm just zooming while I do that. Bring it down to the point on the image that I want to use to set the angle. So I'm just trying to get this as close as I can to be parallel with that side of the building. And then I'm going to bring that around and snap that to the edge on the base there. So you can have a few goes at it. Doesn't matter if you don't get it right the first time. but then you can see now that that looks fairly well at the right angle, close enough. And then using scale now, you can keep stretching it using the grips on the corner, but I'm just going to show you how to do it a bit more accurately in Revit with the scale button. Make sure it's on graphical on the options bar, and then I'm just zooming out so you can see the whole image. Here I want to start on the corner of the building that I use as my base point, and then I'm going to come over to the corner of the building on the image, so not the Revit version. This is the corner of the satellite image. I'm just making sure it's the right right building I've got there. So this is the size it is at the moment. I've gone from the corner to the from left-hand corner to the right-hand corner on the image, and now I just need to give a second point, or a third point really, where the corner in my Revit model is. You can see now it's scaled that to match pretty well, close enough for this. Okay, so that's the first step, getting a reference which you can then use to trace all the site elements. So I'm going to go back to site, and you can see it doesn't have a copy of the image, only this copy of site does, so I'll rename that and call it site with image. And now I just want to add a few elements in. I'm not going to do all of the site, but just a few things to give you an idea how you can put things that you'll need for your site plans. So one of the most important things is the site or the ground itself, which is topo surface to make. So that's for all your topography really, and takes a bit of getting used to if you haven't used them before. So just think of it like something wrapping the whole world, or everything that's considered to be your ground. So whether it's water or road or footpath or anything like that, just do it all as one surface and divide it up later to the separate materials. The major problem people have with topo surfaces is trying to make the separate elements separately when that'll make it fall over. So with the topo surface here, I want this essentially to be the ground for my roads, footpath, everything in that area. So I'm just going to go to topo surface. We're going to assume that it's basically flat, and it is pretty close to being flat around there. But I don't want it to be at ground height, or at my ground floor height. So I'm going to make the elevation there minus 100. And then I'm simply going to click 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, which are a fair way from the building. That's just to give me a large area of ground to work with, and you can see then, as I was creating those points, how it makes your surface. It's just like connecting the dots, really. So it's not drawing in order, in any particular order. It'll decide how the surface is connected. So you just set a height, and it'll then join everything to create a continuous surface. Right, so mine's going to be flat. All the points are the same height, and that's fine. So you might think, well, big deal, I've got a big flat surface. I could have used a floor to make that. And you could have. It's gone to shaded there so you can see it. At the moment, the building is probably floating above the ground, unless... Sorry, what have I done there? Oh, no, sorry, that's right. So I can see the edge of my floor there, that's actually right, but then the walls are floating above the ground. Okay, so a little thing you could do there is select everything in a 3D view, go to filter, check none, just turn the walls back on, and as long as you haven't done any internal walls on the upper levels, you should just be able to set in properties a base offset to all your walls. So they're starting on the ground floor, and I'm just going to make that base offset for now minus 100. To at least take them to where the new ground is, so they're not floating. The floor, you can see, already sticks up above the ground, so that's a good thing. And if I look now notice it's got that funny surface there. You just want to watch out for that. Let's just see, I might have two. Yeah, see, I've got two things there. I've got walls, so what's that? Oh, that's okay, that's the bottom of my wall on the inside, so that's okay. And then the...
So it was okay leaving him or selecting?
Yeah, it's okay to leave it like that for now. But if it had been 2 floors, it would have been a problem. So in section, now you can see that's better. Still not great, but better, definitely. So the ground line comes in below the floor, which is a nice thing to have in all your section views. Notice the wall is going over my floor, so a little thing you can do there would be to maybe either attach. You could attach the wall to the floor. But remember, that's going to bring the bottom of the wall up maybe. Here it didn't even let me, so I'll just undo that. And instead, I'll use join. Wall and the floor, and that's going to give a better result. Okay, so I've just taken the scale down a bit there, so it's got heavier line weights, and then you can see it's not looking too bad now. It's got the wall and especially the floor set into the ground. It's not perfectly showing the way the structure would be in real life, but it's good enough for an interiors project. You don't need to show all the detail, but you at least need to show that it's an enclosed space. And having the ground line is a good thing just for formatting in general, and the ground hatch. So by adjusting that crop region there, I control how much of that ground hatching to show. Going into the elevation views. That's not a very good elevation, so what about this one? Okay, so we've got there the ground line showing. That's a good thing. You always want a ground line in your elevations. But then I've also got the crop region going around the outside. That's not such a good thing, so I'll hide that. And then the ground hatch, we don't want that to show here. Now, in the section we do, so it's showing there, that's how it should show. So first I'll just show you how to adjust that that pattern. It's on massing and site, where you've got topo surface. In that panel, there's a little arrow in the corner. It's an easy one to miss, but when you go there, that's where you set the cut material. It's one of those funny things. It's not in the object. So I'll just cancel and show you. If you select that surface, it's got a material, and in a little while I'll set that to be probably my road material. But the cut material's done separately. It's just in here, so it's got that one setting for your cut material, which is earth here, and that's fine. But you can always change that if you want to, or you can just change the angle. So, but I'm happy with that the way it is. Right, so back in the elevation view, we want the ground line, not the hatch though. So instead of, well, I can't turn it off there. If I disable it there, it's going to change it in the section view. So instead, you can select that topo surface, right click, override graphics in view by element. And this is the real trick. It's not the cut pattern. You'd think so, because it is cutting. It's actually a surface pattern. It's one of those funny things. Just set it to be non-visible. Trust me, that will fix it. It's one of those tricks. So then you can get, without doing very much work, perfect elevations every time, because I give you a ground line that's always going to hide anything below it. So just to show a few other things with the topo surface, going back to my site now, site view, I can see that pretty clearly. And if I go to shaded, it's even clearer. So I want to start breaking up that surface to have these different materials that you have, like the footpath as a minimum and the road. So I'm just going to go to the site view so we can see it without the image. And then I'm going to use Subregion. So you've got these two options which you've got to be careful of, because split surface will seem similar. But if I was you, I'd just avoid that one at first. Go with subregions to begin with. Basically subregions are much less drastic change. So with subregion, you then just need to draw over the surface that you're trying to divide. Okay, so essentially here I want to put a footpath around this building. Okay, so I'm just going to draw, doesn't matter if I go under the building, that's fine. So I'm just going to draw along this edge and down the side, coming out this way, and fairly roughly. You're not rebuilding the footpath, so it doesn't need to be perfectly measured.
If you do this, it won't set after you actually, like you haven't pasted exactly over the map and start doing this. Will it find itself or it's
No, you've got to trace it yourself, yeah. So, so here I'm only doing it up to where the building finishes. A bit later I'll probably extend it. So I'll just do one line down this way. And then with trim, you can join these together. So essentially I've created a shape within that outer boundary. And I'll just finish that. And then you can see it's selected, it's a separate thing. But if I flick to one side, it's still all part of one big topo surface. So in 3D even, they won't look that different. But now you can go and use paint. So it's a tool you maybe haven't used so much, and if you don't know about this one, it's worth looking at just for a whole lot of other things. So paint is a tool you can use to override any material. So yeah, it's a really useful one. So you do that in first year normally. So yeah, I was in the no, I know, yeah. No, that's not normally the first way I show people to assign materials. So it doesn't work with everything though, so you can't rely on it. But otherwise, it's pretty good. So when you go to paint, it'll let you choose most surfaces, and you can just choose any material from here. It's great for reveals and things like that. You've probably seen, you know, when you're going in. Yeah. So I'll just choose something randomly. So I want to get this bit of the wall to be a different colour. No worries. And you can just choose anything. Yeah, great tool. But you can't rely on it because, like I said, it doesn't work with everything. And it's very slow. Are you sure? Oh. Yep. Oh, look, I haven't talked to you about what you can do, but yeah, it's not a total disaster, but sure. Oh, look, I'll have a look, and there's probably some tricks I can use. Well, can try something anyway, so I'll have a look in a minute. Okay, so yeah, so the paint tool. Just wanted to show you a little bit about that. You can see it's a great tool, but there's a few little things to make it work properly. It gives you this panel of all your materials, but that won't let you make materials. Okay, so you need the material in advance, so you need to make it first. On the Manage tab, you can just go to Materials and then make a new material. And I like to have a bunch of site materials set up because you know you'll always need them. Every project pretty much you have a site. And so we've got this site hardcore, which is good as a starting point. I'm going to right click on that, duplicate, and yeah, well that's the original hardcore. That's where the word came from. It's not the other way. Yeah, I know. People, that is the original hardcore.
The original hardcore.
Yes. Yep. So with site pavement or footpath. Pavement, I can't help myself, even though it's American. And so the colour I'll just set while I'm at it. You know, that's going to be grey. And then under appearance, we can set the concrete render material, even though it may never be seen. So here with concrete, I'm not going to get too fussy. Probably just the blocks or something, or one of these fairly flat ones. So I do want a bit of division, but not the blocks division. Let's go flat grade 2, I think that's the one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're about 500 each at the moment. I'm going to make them double that size, so 4,000. Yeah, so nice big slabs, and that'll do. That's plenty for now, but I'll just check the graphics before I finish. It's got a cut pattern, so I might just set that to nothing. And I don't really want bumps, just while I'm at it. Okay, so now I can go to Modify, Paint, and then I can choose Site Pavement from that panel, and then select my surface. Now, sorry, I'm thinking of the old way. So this is going to work for anything else, but for subregions, so you need to select those and then assign the material directly. So in Properties, so it's much easier than I was making it look. When you select it, you'll see it'll probably be on by category, and you can just browse there for your material. You could have made a new one while you were doing it, but it doesn't hurt to make it in advance. And so then I can see the change there. And maybe just to give you some more examples, when you go back to edit those, you do need to be a little bit careful, because if they overlap, they won't work. You can have as many subregions as you like in a topo surface, but yeah, they can't intersect. They can touch, but not overlap. So if I go to edit boundary here, I'm just going to fine tune that against my image. So we can see there that's, well, it's probably not very wide actually, this footpath, because it's a lane. Okay, and so then I can probably, with these buildings, stretch it out and then model over the top of them using just very simple massing type models. And that's always a good thing to have. So with the, so I'll just finish this one. Oh, so it's just frozen. There we go. Okay, so with those buildings there, you could just do something as simple as regions, or actually just like hatching in AutoCAD. So you could do those over this site plan, and that would be good enough for the buildings in this drawing. But because you'll see them probably in other views, and then it's not a bad idea to have it shadowing in 3D the way it would in real life, and when you start looking out through your windows, you can tell whether or not you get a good view through there if you've got things around it modelled. It doesn't take long just to model something quickly using model in place. Generic models is fine if you don't know which category. And I'll call this, building 1. And then just with extrusion, I'm going to make something just following the form of this. I'm not going to worry at all about the roof shape or anything like that. It's probably flat in any case, but even if it was sloped or pitch roof, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Okay, so we're working from ground floor. So I'm going to make the extrusion start -100, so it sits on the site, and then the extrusion end. Well, you'd probably be able to go and work out the height of this building, but I'm going to guess and say 10 metres, maybe 15. Let's say 15, just to give it a bit of decent height. And so tick to finish in the 3D view, then you can see the basic form. You can set a very simple material to those while you're at it, but otherwise that's all you need. So just give you the basic idea. So these things again, that's a really low building. So again, just with an extrusion, just keep adding things like this. And so this, as well as giving you all those 3D things, is going to give you what we want for the site plan, which is just these things adjoining your site blocked out roughly to show where they are. So this one will be, if it's only single story, at most, I don't know, 5 metres high. Okay, so it can really help, just start to give you an idea of the project in context. And then, so I'll finish that one. Then going back into the site. Okay, so to get the road, I'll just do another subregion. This one you can see doesn't go under these other buildings, so I'll extend that out as well just to give me something to work off with the road. So with a line there, I'm just going to draw so that it's big enough for these buildings. So being pretty rough, not being fussy at all. Right, so then to add in the road surface, I could do a new subregion, but it's probably better to set this topo surface to have the road material. So just by selecting it, then we can go to Browse, and then again just duplicating my material. So as we cite road or tarmac, and there is a tarmac material. This will do. Aggregate high is close enough. Yep, that'll do. And so I'll just use window appearance. That should, yep, that'll give me a dark colour. A bit too dark actually. Right, so that'll do as a render material for my road. And so the whole site will have that now, and that means I can go and add more subregions. Might just change the angle of this one. That's more like the building. And they don't have to touch. Once you start getting subregions that are touching, they can become difficult to work with. So if I go and add in on massing and site, subregion again. And so I'm going to draw for the other side of my road, which is roughly here. But I'll look in the site with image to see if I've got it right. Not really. So let's adjust that. Okay, so just with some more lines for the shape I want here, and if you worry about those rounded corners, I'll show you some tricks to get those. Probably know already using fillet arc. Oh, okay, so here I've gotten to the edge of my topo surface. Oh no, so that's the edge of my image. The edge of the topo surface, sorry, is up there, but I do want to go to the edge just so you can see what happens. You don't need to go over the edge, so you just need to go up to it. And then here, it'll be the same. So I can just extend that line up to touch, but not go over. So you don't need to trace over the edge there. And it'll give you an error, actually, if you do. Oh yeah, so here, we want that to be a rounded edge, so I'm going to delete this segment in between, and then using fillet arc, which is a draw tool, if you don't know it, fillet arc there. You can choose these two lines, and then just put a radius in between them. Okay, so that's my new block shape, tick to finish. And, now sorry, I'm thinking of something else. So they do need to be closed, but again, don't go over the edge. It's better to bring it outside. So there are split surface where it's the other way. So, but this will work. So that's going outside my topo surface, which is here. That's fine. It should still, yep, it'll still work. So then in 3D, okay, we can see that new area. And if I go to select it, again, in properties there, you can see the material still not set. So I'm going to browse and set site pavement for that. Okay, so you can just keep building your site up that way. Then a lot of the site features are really automatic. So things like car parking. You're probably not going to have a lot of car parking with this project, but I don't know, has anyone thought about it? Whether you can make it an option? I'd be thinking about it anyway, because if you had a look at the history, it is an original garage. That's what it was built as, that building. And so there's opportunities there. You could have cars parked in there as a feature or something. And so you've got those three big garage doors anyway, which are original. So if it's something that you maybe would think is a possibility. An easy thing you can get from the library is in Massington site, you've got parking components. And so there you've got these preloaded parking spaces. And it's that easy to bring them in. You just choose, and they're basically the right size. So to work out your parking areas, that's a really simple thing. For a site like this, you're probably not going to have too much use for them. But then looking at those other tools you've got there, site components, if you have a look at the panel then, it essentially filters out a lot of families, so it's just showing you mainly trees, but there are others as well. When you go load family, in entourage, you'll see there are some people, and so you've probably seen the male and the female there, the boats and the vehicles as well. So you've got some cars and things like that, which can be really handy on site plans especially, and they'll show up in 3D also. Okay, so you can easily put those in and they'll show up on your site. Watch out for some of them that have too much geometry showing. You can always have a look for others that show better. So I'll just okay, so back to that same entourage. So I should have got one of these others. So the not the sports car, the truck, the ute, they're both, I think, done with better displays. Yeah, a little bit better. So then back to site component, and the trees are a really important one. So in again planting, it can look like you don't have a huge selection. Remember, these are all RPC objects, so they have lots of types in each family. So even just with the shrubs, you can get quite a lot of variety. And I'll just put some in maybe around here. You're not going to have a huge amount of foliage in this area from what was there previously, but have a look now. Has anyone had a look there now? Yeah, they're definitely going to be doing a lot of planting around there. And I think it is now. Yeah, I saw scaffolding there, but you can. Oh, there's a little bit. No, they won't have full trees, but no, they'll be doing it on the walls and things like that. And they'll definitely be doing. There's like a green planting plan for that area. Same as what they've done next door. So anyhow, it's definitely going to have a lot of changes there, and it's pretty good quality. I know it looks like it's pretty tight, but it's quite good quality, a lot of the existing fabric there, so they'll do, I think, some pretty good things. So with these shrubs at least, you can use them with the interiors as well. I'm just going to put something pretty rough in. So that's when you see them, because in plan, and even in the 3D views when you look at the silhouettes, they can look a bit average. But just look at them in realistic and you'll see how they're going to render. Which is usually a lot better than what you see in shaded. Okay, so these are just the ones from the library. You've got plenty of others you can download if you want to. That's a really easy thing you can add to your drawings and site plans especially. And that'll work in plan. So sometimes having a locality plan, no, you can get the RPC to show here, but they've set it to show that graphics instead, so it's not going to show here, but I'll just go back to shaded. Okay, so as well as the site components, you've got, well, if we just go back in there, so as well as the planting, just looking at a few other things you've got there in site. You've obviously got a lot of other standard things that you would have outdoors. Sporting fields probably is a bit big for this one, but obviously the other parking symbols you can see there. And well, again, some extra things here which you might think belong in Entourage, but they're not. And they're just easy things you can add in that will sometimes fill in your project. And of course, don't forget about all the furniture. Now they should have. There's not a lot of outdoor furniture here, but I know Max's one has tons. So all sorts of outdoor furniture you'll find if you browse through this Chi library here. There's too much to go through there, but here there's just a bus shelter, and you'll find tons of these standard elements that you'd have in these situations. Okay, so just really easy things that often will look great in 3D as well. That, of course, showing your site and just helps locate everything. So then to build that up into a finished site plan, there's a couple of just extra little mainly graphical things. I'm going to duplicate this view again. This time I'm going to choose duplicate with detailing, so I want to make sure I get any drafting elements. And I'll rename this view also, and I'll call it site, maybe site plan, because this is the name I'd want it to have on the sheet. So this is the one I would put on my sheet. And so I'll start by hiding a lot of things that I know I don't need, like those elevation views, VH on those. My reference planes, I probably don't really need those either, so VH. Sections, VH. That survey mark, it's good quite often in surveys, but here, VH, I don't want it. And all these other things, stairs, I'd definitely fix that up later so that it doesn't show that way coming through my model. But for now, just to get the site plan showing properly, you can hide it. Right, so all those things you're often just thinking about in a 2D way. You can see I haven't done much of the surrounding buildings, but once I crop it, it probably won't matter. So making sure cropping is on, and then using the crop region that you can turn on down below, you can easily just make that into a more reasonable area. And then text. So the thing people always forget at first, especially with programs like Revit, is to put enough annotation. So everyone knows, the things you've made and what they're looking at, because again, if you don't describe it, it's really hard sometimes. And so just drawing some text over here, mainly for things like street names. And so street names should always be huge. And I suppose you could use Arial, but doesn't hurt to have a different font as well. I know, Arial's the worst font ever. Yeah, it's awful. It is, because it's rubbish. It's a terrible font. But if you don't get Helvetica, then yeah, no, that's right. They're all awful. But you've got to pay for Helvetica, unfortunately. So, you can get, I know, you can get it. Oh, Apple's gone bad as well. Yeah. Yeah, right. No, but I don't like the Apple one either. Just straight Helvetica, if you go and buy that, is great. And yeah, Apple have gone weird as well. But at least Apple, they work with the guys who make the fonts. Sorry, so I'm just going to choose a different one. Anyone got any favourites for Windows? Tahoma? I'll go with Tahoma. For street names, you probably should use the old-fashioned ones with, serifs and everything. But, yeah, I'll just go for Tahoma. Yeah, I'll be done in about a minute, or a couple of minutes. I'll just get some other graphics on here. But if you want to go and get something, go for it. Okay, so is it, I suppose, just Broadway around there? Don't want to spend too long on this, but if you call it Broadway, I'd be happy with it. George Street, it still is, or Parramatta Road. What is it there, Parramatta Road? Yeah. Yeah.
Broadway.
Is it Broadway?
It's not Parramatta there. It's not Parramatta. No, George Street.
Broadway.
It has to be one or the other.
It's actually Broadway, then it turns into Parramatta Road.
All right. Oh yeah, yeah,
Your street's the other side,
yeah.
up the railway square.
So did I not set a size there? Let's see. Yes, I did. Okay, so the scale is the other thing to think about when you're doing your text, and then okay, so I'm sure you'll have an idea how to do these things just to make sure you don't forget about it, and you know, all the streets you'd want to label here, and all the buildings, and make yours stand out with the larger font and everything else. That angle should definitely be closer to this. So those things can definitely help. Having different colours on your site plans doesn't hurt, but for this it's all fairly built up, so there's not a lot you can do there. And really they're the main elements. So then going into True North. Okay, so this is not essential. Everything I've shown you up to this point, they're the essential things, just so you can get some sort of site plan done. And they're often fairly 2D. But then just going back to what we looked at right at the beginning, it was probably doing your head in a little bit, and we're looking at True North and setting that in Revit. Okay, because it's something you get used to by doing it, and probably won't be obvious at first. But if you do everything I've done up to this point, and you have the Google image in there, we know this was at True North originally. So I'm just going to record a few quick little tricks. Duplicate the view with detailing, yet again. I'll rename this, and I'm going to call it Site, just TN Working or something. So this is my working True North view. But it's not a True North view yet. I've got to go into Properties and set the orientation there to True North. That won't change anything, but that will let me go to Manage, Coordinates, Position, rotate True North, snap the base point onto the side of the image. That image is still pointing to True North, remember? So if I go along that edge, that's north. Bring that vertical, that snaps north to what Revit wants north to be. So this is now pointing to True North, and you can tell because the image is back to its original orientation. If we look in the other site plan that isn't True North yet, it shouldn't have changed. It should still be rotated. I'm just trying to tie it all back to the logic of the reasons you're doing this. We've got the building this way because we want to draw it this way. We want to have it this way on the final floor plans. So this is your project north. You're showing the orientation that you want. And then it's just the True North views that you set to have True North as their orientation, so that Revit knows essentially where the sun's coming from. But like I said, that's optional. You don't have to set the sun for this one, but it will help you if you do it, because when you do the rendering, the sun's ready to go. So I'll finish that there, but yeah, you can at least have some sort of basic site plan. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it just needs to show the site. And next year, when you do projects where you have to do site plans and locality plans, I'll make you do those as well. Actually, before, do you know about locality plans? Heard about that?
Show us one that's about there was a report on that.
Yeah, often they're... it can be, but no, these days they're often just a map, and then unless you get a planner to do something, and so that'll often go before your site plan, and often just AutoCAD or even hand drawn, or you're like saying a map, just a satellite map drawn over or sketched over, and then the other one's a site analysis plan. So that'll go in between often your site plan and your locality plan. So analysing your site, often just with hand drawing, and so you go out to site and you draw where things are, draw the direction of your sun, your prospect, your aspect, all those important things. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And there's some really good information if you just Google site analysis plan, or go to any of the council websites. They've got good examples of all those, and you know what you should have on them. And yeah, I'll finish that there, but maybe I'll just quickly show you the 3D view in the end, and what it looks like, that there's nothing that special there, but once the building's in context, it starts to look much more complete, not just something